Thank you for attending and for giving me half an hour of your time. All right, let me start off. So raise your hands if you think that data is going to grow in the workspace over the next 5 years. Absolutely, thank you very much. Now I'm going to ask you another question is, do you feel that the data and technology is going to influence the way we operate in the workspace again in the same period over the next 5 years? Perfect. So where are you now? Okay, you may be in an organization who's not very sure what technology to adopt, what data to capture, or even what business intelligence actually means. Better yet, what value is it actually going to give my clients and your customers? So you've adopted the wait and see approach. You want the industry to mature so that you get the best learnings from everyone else's mistakes. Yeah, you might also be in an organization who's done very little, if anything at all, and you're adopting the wait and see approach. But you're worried that by sitting on the fence, it's going to cost you. And the risk you have is, will you be able to catch up over the next 5 years? You might also be in an organization who's done a little bit. So you've hired a business analyst, you've managed to abstract the data that is currently within the business, and you're using tools already within your organization, like Excel, like Power BI. Now, while this was a very cost-effective solution for you at the very beginning, and perhaps working now, you're realizing at this point that data is growing. It's not scalable. You find yourself looking at an Excel dashboard, for example, and you're wondering, is this data up to date? What version am I looking at? You know, your business analyst is copying and pasting constantly from multiple Excel tabs. So is this scalable? Are you going to be in the same situation where you are from now until 5 years' time? You may find your organization might already have an IT department that already has the sufficient cloud database warehousing. You might already have an analytics tool. You might already have a visualization tool. And whilst this is working for you now, you find yourself, you step back, you're constantly throwing money at your IT department because your clients are asking more of you. Your clients are asking for that bespoke visibility of that information, of that data, of the services that you are providing. And finally, you might be in a corporate. And that corporate has gone the full hog. That corporate has got an IT division. They've got business analysts, cloud developers, cloud architects, and administrators, etc. And you take a step back and you think, is data management my core business? Or is my business here to serve my clients? So let's have a think about where you want to be. So let's envision that your business analyst can come up to you now and present you with insights. And not just insights that not just tell you about what has happened in your business and what the learnings that you can adopt moving forwards to streamline your operational efficiencies, but they're coming with you with actions that you can implement within your business to help shape, grow, and improve revenue with supported data-driven evidence to confirm whether this line of direction is the right course of action, or is it this line of direction? Imagine your data team is now not a data team, but an intelligence team. An intelligence team that is providing those insights, those valuable information and actions to your clients, improving not only your USP, but you're actually providing value, real value add to your clients. Okay? So how do you get there? Graham and I want to discuss to you today is about harnessing data for your business and not your business being shackled by data. Okay? Let me explain. Many clients that we approach and we talk to, they talk about being data-led or data-driven, but data doesn't supply you with intelligence. Data doesn't assume that you are going to make those right decisions. Yeah? What do your clients actually want? They want a safe and a conducive working environment for their colleagues and for their customers. They want compliance, health and safety. They want workspace utilization. A growing interest in the energy consumption, the energy emissions across their estate. And they want to report on it. They want to report on carbon emission factors to understand their impact. And they want all of this at a reasonable, cost-effective price. And on top of that, they want innovation. And they want your advice. They want your expertise. Now, you can't achieve that by constantly looking at the past. You have to change that mindset and think about moving on into the future.
Want me to do this bit?
I do.
Hi there. Thank you all for joining us today. So, that isn't a spelling mistake, by the way. There's a chap in America by the name of James Datore, and he founded an organization called the Future Thinking Strategy. And the Americans have spent the last 50, 60 years working on building and developing models about future thinking and how that works. And his model talks about inflection points. And those inflection points are points where you need to make a decision. And that decision will either allow you to transform the organization and grow, or where you're going to reach limits and potentially collapse. And they've evidenced this over periods of time. And the thing with data at the moment, I'm sure we've all heard of ChatGPT and all of the AI, and everyone's talking about what AI is going to do. All of that is based on this vast quantity of data that's appearing. And a lot of that data is happening in the built environment. So if you are involved in the built environment, if you're consulting in the built environment, if you are working within the built environment, even if you're using the built environment, you're going to see this constant inflow and increase in data. And all of that brings you to a point where you need to say, right, my inflection point is, am I going to do anything with this? Do I care? And therefore I'm not going to do anything with it. But at least I'm making an informed decision based on what I believe is going to happen and how that might affect my business, my organization, or me as a service provider. Now, I like to use analogies. I think analogies are a great way to visualize things. So people say data is the new oil. I don't particularly like that because I'm not sure if data is the new oil, but it does enable us to give you a really good visual representation of what we're talking about. Now, if you imagine oil has little or no value in its raw state. Data is exactly the same. You've got loads and loads of stuff dropping into a data lake, not really any value until you start to look at how do I refine that? So how do I refine oil in order to turn it into a product? How do I refine data in order to be able to understand it and drill into it more effectively and more efficiently? In this example, you refine oil to be able to produce petrol. Petrol has a lot more value than oil. Data, when it's organized, has a lot more value than unstructured data in a data lake. Why do you do that? Well, we produce petrol because we want to get in our cars and we want to move from A to B. In exactly the same way, when we've got organized data, what we want to do is analyze it. We want to analyze that data so that we can actually make decisions based on the right questions and the right answers. Moving, how do I improve the way that I get from A to B? Well, I improve the way because people have developed satellite navigation software, ways that make it easier and faster and quicker for me to get from A to B. In the similar kind of way, that's what AI and ML models do. They take a certain amount of what was traditionally done by getting a map out, and they automate that so that you can actually start to have automation within your working environment so that a lot of the mundane decisions can be taken automatically. So Why do we want why do we have all these industries? In order to get to our destination. Data is exactly the same. It's the question you want to ask yourself now is, do I want to build a refinery? Do I want to construct cars in order to get from A to B? And exactly the same way is, do I want to build data lakes and data refineries and analytical tools and AI and ML models in order to improve the answers that I deliver within my organization and the way that my organization works? And those are the questions that we're now starting to see. The big corporations, they can spend 15, 20, 30 million pounds a year on data analytics, cloud platforms, architects. Smaller organizations can't afford to do that. But why shouldn't they have that capability? Why should they not have the ability to build data products and data tools for their clients and their offerings? And that's what we at Datore believe, and that's why we've gone about how do we create all of those elements for our clients and just allow them to focus on getting the right answer. So what does that mean? What does that really mean for you? Well, if you decide you want to do this all yourself, if you want to build that refinery, first of all, you've got to think about the volume of data, the veracity of that data, how much is going to come in. And if you build your data cloud models wrong now, you will spend hundreds of thousands of pounds remodeling them at some point in the future because of the amount of data that you've got to deal with. At the same time, do you want to invest in analytical tools? Do you want to invest in BI consultants? And those BI consultants, their job is to build dashboards. But their job isn't to answer the questions that impact the business, to make it better, to make it more efficient. So do you want to do that, or do you want to outsource that and just focus on business analysts delivering intelligent insights? Or do you want to focus on dashboard people building dashboards? Automation. Automation is going to change the way, and exactly the way we see ChatGPT and people using that to create dissertations, we're going to see that in the working environment. We're going to see more and more changes where mundane, ordinary tasks are done using data models. The question again is, do you want to build those data models? Is that your core business focus? Or are you going to use other models, other AI tools, things that are out there in order to be able to improve over time? And lastly, do you really care more about the data, or do you actually care more about the intelligence? Because the intelligence is answering what we call the so what questions. So what are my competitors doing? So what are my clients thinking? So what do my employees want? So what should my space deliver to my organization? If you're focused on the so what, then you're focusing on the intelligent output. If you focus on data, it's not going to give you an intelligent output. It's going to give you a set of dashboards. We've got a little case study which I think Sophie's just going to run through for you in terms of how we did this for one of our clients.
Yeah. So let me introduce you to James. Now, James is an operational director. He works in one of the largest UK renewable energy companies. Okay, they started off with having 200 gigabytes of data a year, and he had a team of analysts who were collecting that data manually. They were in Excel hell, and they were measuring key performance indicators which are in its very nature in the past. They themselves, first off, started their journey by implementing a database. They already had an analytical platform, and what they needed to understand was built a database in order to service that analytical platform. But their initial deployment failed. And this is where they brought us in. So we were the service providers of that analytical platform. Now, the problem that they had was they were trying to, for example, trying to eat spaghetti with a fork. It wasn't fit for purpose. So they brought us in to restructure, manage, organize, and scale their data. And we built them a set of initial dashboard and reporting off the back of it without the manual intervention of their analytical team. Now, when we first initiated this journey, we had pushback. We had pushback from their asset managers because change, no one particularly likes change until we started delivering and going to those asset managers and going, what are the reporting requirements you need? What is the intelligence that you need in order to manage those 147 solar farms dotted around the UK? They weren't interested in the data. They were interested in what that information was telling them, what solar parks were available, when did it go down, being proactive about their maintenance management schedule. And we provided that by answering those questions. We move into a year later into our journey with them, and now they have gone from 200 gigabytes a year to 200 gigabytes a month. They haven't had to worry about how to scale or optimize or how to bring that data in. We were their data-led team. They were the intelligence team. They utilized the information that we transformed to them in understandable, tangible outputs for them to take that information and derive intelligence from it, drive actions. To the point where, moving on, we started integrating with Microsoft Teams. We automated their report generation that they previously spent weeks producing on a monthly basis. We gave them the ability to ask those questions directly from Teams. That was their inflection point. Now, they have moved into a big data warehouse. We've moved infrastructure as code. And as of today, they now have the ability to start investing and looking at machine learning, AI. We're actually moving into a project where we're doing drone-based site mapping so that they can better understand and monitor in real time their maintenance and real estate. From a data perspective, we've enabled them to have multiple environments, auto-scaling, depending on their usage, going up and down, making sure it's cost efficient for them. To currently today, 200 gigabytes a week. So we anticipate they are growing from generating 1 gigabyte of energy in a year to 20 gigabytes of energy in a year. Hence, 200 gigabytes of data in a week anticipated in the next 6 months. Which meant that from our perspective, we have to understand how to auto-scale, understand the processes that are required to manage that amount of data, but still give them the insights at a click of a button. And who knows where we're going to be in 18 months' time, but automation and AI is where they're going.
Just to take away from today, in summary, first of all, if you're reaching that inflection point, or if you believe that inflection point is on its way, then we'd say, get informed. Look out there. You don't need to build those huge data teams. You don't need to build those huge analytics teams to be able to offer data products to your clients or your staff or within your organization. If you are going to do that, consider the volumes, the velocities, what that's going to look like. Consider whether you want to be looking at answering questions in order to take the organization forward, or you want to be investing in tools. Consider whether you want to build your own AI and ML models, or you want to use what's out there and what's more appropriate for your organization. Most importantly of all, consider, is answering the so what question what you really want to do, as opposed to becoming data-led. Do you really actually want to become intelligence-led? Thank you very much indeed. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. If you want to have a chat, please feel free to hang around and we'll have a chat with everybody. Alternatively, if you want to scan that at any point, you can book a session to chat to myself or Sophia. Lovely.
Lovely.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.